Hello everyone, welcome to Code Escuela. So I've been thinking of some ways that I could probably add to the Postman clone application or to our Blazor Postman clone application. And so one of the things that came up to my mind was like maybe we could add a sort of a repeat and delay function. So what exactly do I mean by that? So I've already have the application running here and I've made some additional changes to it. As you notice, it now has this two text boxes here at the top. So you have this repeat box and then the delay box. So what this would basically do is that if you specify a number here from the repeat, then it will repeatedly call the API that you specify here at the bottom. Okay. And then the second box would be adding a delay. So every call, there's a delay in between calls. So with this one, we can test this one out and I will talk about the code after this one. So the API that we are going to use for now is this one from, I found this one while looking through what APIs we could use for our demos. And this seems to be quite a fun kind of API. So this API is all about Pokemon. So if you're familiar with Pokemon or have been a fan of Pokemon, so I guess this API would definitely you would definitely enjoy this one. But anyways, so we have some few endpoints here that we can use. So I think the one that I've tried earlier was to use this berries endpoint. So this one would uh, show you the different details of the different berries within the Pokemon world. And so let's try this one for now. Let's say berry. Let's highlight this endpoint and hit copy here. And let's just get one berry detail. So berry slash one, click send, right? So you have one response. So with the repeat function here or option, we can specify how many times we want to repeatedly call the API. I don't know if there's some actual use to this for now, but I'm thinking of like probably some way for us to eventually as an improvement to this application wherein you can call an API. So you save the API first like the settings and all of these things, and then from a different section of the application you can specify that endpoint and then have it repeatedly call. Okay, so let's say you want call this API two times. So you just set it as two, then click send. And then you might notice that it has the same request response, but outputted twice. Okay, which means that the API has been called twice. Okay, and then by default, it has a delay of 100 milliseconds. So let's make the delay a bit longer. Let's say 2000 milliseconds, equivalent to 2 seconds. So let's click send again. So as you can see, the delay or the uh, calling of the endpoint took a bit time. So the first call and then the second call would take a bit like after 2 seconds, and then it gets the response, right? So let's look at the code that I've used for this one. So first off, I've added the text boxes on the top. Again, there are basic. Both of them are just basic mod numeric fields. And then I've binded them or mapped them to this repeat and delay field variables or fields. So going down here at the bottom, so we store the value for repeat and delay. By default, the minimum repeat would be 1, gets only called once. And then the delay would be 100 milliseconds. And then I've added a bit of a control here. So setting the max repeat equal to 5. So you can just make a call of up to 5 calls repeatedly because we don't want to like cause any issues with the endpoint that we're trying to call. And then probably like we get flagged or eventually we might get hit the limit for our calls. So yeah, that's something I just added personally. But uh, going into the details, so this is the refactored section of code here that does the request. So the actual method is send request. But here, now I've enclosed the sending or the actual sending of the request within this for loop, which means that if the repeat is set, then it would just loop depending on the number of repeat that has been specified. And from there, again, I moved out the previous code into its own method of creating the request. So in this create request, it's basically just the same uh, feature or code from the previous one wherein all of this code has been placed within the send request. Okay, so I just isolated that into its own method. And then from there, if the delay has been set or the repeat, so we only apply the delay if the repeat is greater than one. I guess, I mean, I think there's no point in adding a delay unless the point of the delay is that you add a delay on the first, even on the first call. But that's something that I did not add on as an additional logic because it's a bit more complicated than that. So yeah, so the first call would, there's no delay, only the uh, successive calls after the first call. So if the repeat is more than one, then we will add the delay in between calls. Okay, so that's the very simple adjustment that I did for this one. So yeah, this is just something I wanted to discuss because I'm thinking of probably like a feature of this application where you can drag and drop the you can create a set of flows or tasks that you want to do with, or with the endpoints that you want to check or test. One common would be like repeatedly calling an endpoint. So I think one variation of that would be like repeatedly call an endpoint but passing in different parameters with each call. So that's something that I'm hoping to add also. But for now, yeah, I'm just experimenting with this repeat and delay option. If it's something useful maybe. But yeah, I think that's just something I'd want to show you or everyone. So yeah, for our next update, hopefully I get to do some much more useful one than just having this repeat and delay option. So yeah, I guess yeah, that's what I want to discuss for now. And please don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel, and hope to see you soon again in our next episode. Thank you everyone and have a wonderful day. Bye.